Hello, students. I welcome you all again in this series of lecture on Constitution. And in this particular presentation, we are going to discuss about directive principles of state policy. Okay, in short, it is also called as DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy. So in this particular presentation, we will be exactly looking at what do we mean by DPSP and why it is important. Okay, why it is there in the Constitution and what is the importance of directive principles of state policy. All right, so let us begin with the next point. The very first point, as you can see on the screen, the directive principles of state policy of India are the guidelines for the government. Okay, let me explain this first to you. When we say guidelines, what exactly it means? That these are the, we can say, such instructions or suggestions to the government through which we are planning to realize the goal or achieve the goal. Okay, in short, we can say we are setting our goals, and these are the guidelines to achieve those goals. All right, like for example, India wants to become socialist country. Okay, India wants to become socialist country. So what you should do, what kind of measures we should take, or India wants itself to become 100% literate nation or 100% educated nation. Okay, so how it will be achieved? So those guidelines will be given in directive principles of state policy. Few goals are set, and we have certain guidelines to realize or achieve that goal. Those guidelines are called as directive principles of state policy. It means what? That state is supposed to try to implement these goals. It is not binding, it is not mandatory for the state. When I'm saying state, means the entire, we can say, national government, or we can say entire nation. State means not particular one region or one state. Okay, so the government of India should try to implement these guidelines so that you can reach your desired, okay, destination. That is the reason due to which directive principles are highly important. So directive principles constitute a very comprehensive social, economic, and political program for a modern and welfare state. What does it mean? Social, economic, and political program for modern and welfare state. In short, what we can say, that India wants to become modern, India wants to become welfareistic state, or in short, welfare state. And therefore, what we should do, we should implement social, economic, and political program so that we can reach to that destination of welfare state. Okay, these principles emphasizes that the state shall try to promote welfare of the people by providing them basic facilities like shelter, food, and clothing. Okay, we all know that basic needs are there. Every human being has basic needs, and very basic is shelter, food, and clothing. Right? These three things are highly, I can say, required things for any human being, and therefore it becomes the basic duty of government to provide these basic facilities to the people. Okay, so unlike fundamental rights, the directive principles of state policy are non-binding in nature, which means they are not enforceable by the courts for their violation. What does it mean? That the way we have fundamental rights, okay, if your fundamental right is violated, you can directly approach Supreme Court, you can approach judiciary, and you will get the justice. Okay, if your fundamental right is violated, it will be, we can say, settled down, and you will get the justice. But so is not the case over here with directive principles of state policy. here we can say few suggestions are given, okay, few guidelines are given by the constitution to the government. Constitution is giving certain guidelines to the state or to the government, and government is expected to implement those guidelines or suggestions, but it is not mandatory. Remember this, it is not compulsory. Government will decide whether we have to implement this or not. If government is not implementing any policy of directive principles, in such case no one can approach judiciary. Why? Because these are not enforceable by the courts. Okay, these are not enforceable. So therefore, there is no question of going to court, right? However, the constitution itself declares that these principles are fundamental in governance of the country, and it shall be the duty of the state to apply these principles. Okay, what does it mean? A kind of expectation is you know uh, offered. A kind of expectation is there from the government. Constitution is expecting something from the government, that if you want to achieve, we can say, the welfare state, if you really wants to become the best country, best nation, you should follow or you should apply these directive principles in your governance. And if you could do this, then it will be, we can say, kind of respect will be given to constitution, and along with that, we can say, your nation will move towards more and more better way. Okay, or we can say it will become more and more better in nature. Okay, so that is, we can say, the importance of directive principles. Next point, that they are borrowed from the Constitution of Ireland. Directive principles are basically borrowed from the Irish Constitution. uh, we have seen in previous presentations also, when we were discussing fundamental rights and many other points, that there are many provisions in Indian constitution which we have borrowed from some or the other country. Okay, we have, like, for example, emergency provision we have taken from German Weimar constitution, right? Philosophical can say philosophy of the constitution, or we can say life, liberty, equality, right? These all principles are taken from French constitution. We have taken a parliamentary form of government from Britain, right, or UK, and many more things are there. Same way, directive principles of state policy is taken from Irish constitution, or it is called as Constitution of Ireland. Okay, so, and when we say that we have borrowed, doesn't mean that we have borrowed and implemented as it is. This is not the case. Definitely we have borrowed certain principles from other constitution. However, along with that, we have made certain changes as per the society of India or Indian society. Hmm. We have to first see that what kind of society we are having in India, and as per that we have to modify those provisions and implement in the nation. Okay, so that is what we have done while borrowing or bringing any uh, principle from other country. Okay, so if I talk about you can say articles where exactly these directive principles of state policy are mentioned in the constitution, so it is article 36 to 51. Okay, under part 4 of the Indian constitution. Remember that directive principles of state policy are enshrined or mentioned under article 36 to 51, and it has separate, we can say, chapter or part, which is known as part 4 of Indian constitution. So this part deals with directive principles of state policy. So it denotes the ideals that the state should keep in mind while formulating policies and enacting laws. Okay, ideals that state should keep in mind As I said that you are governing the country, and while governing the country, you have to keep certain things in your mind. You have to keep certain ideals in front of you so that you will perform to realize or achieve those ideals. So directive principles are nothing but those ideals. We have to achieve that ideal state. For example, let me tell you, like everyone will get employment. Okay, no one will remain unemployed, or 100% literacy in the nation. These are the idealistic, right, ideals, or you can say features, which every country is willing to achieve, right? And India is also one of them. India also wants to reach that target, right? We also wants to reach to that level, and these levels are known as ideals. Okay, and it is not that once you have mentioned directive principle in the constitution and you should apply all these principles once for all. It generally never happens. Okay, why it generally never happens? For the only the reason is that you have to make changes as per the suitability and time. All right, you have to make changes as per the time. Okay, so it's not like we were thinking of 100% literacy in 1947. It was quite difficult at that time to even imagine, because very, you can say, small number of people were educated at that time. But today we can imagine that, right? Our literacy rate, as per, we can say, 2011 census report, it says that almost 74.5% of people in India are literate, and this number will definitely go up. Okay, what does it simply mean? That you can realize your goal by following these ideal principles. So in short, we can say that we have to make changes as per the time and situation. So it depends on the suitability, right? Because whenever you are about to make a law, you have to ensure that whatever law you are making, that is suitable to your society and your culture. If it is not suitable to your society, then there is very high possibility that that law will not be implemented properly, and there will be no use of that. Okay, and not only in India, you take many countries in the world, and you will find one common thing, that if you talk about their laws, okay, they are best, okay, for their societies, or you can say they are we can say one of the finest laws which they have mentioned in the constitution. But when it comes to their implementation, it is rarely implemented anywhere. Okay, I'm not talking about all the laws, but few laws are there which are ideal in nature, but they are not actually implemented in real sense. So again, the value of that law becomes zero if it is not implemented properly, right? And therefore you have to check that whether this is correct time or not to implement particular principle, or we can say any part of directive principles of state policy. So now we can say that it constitutes a very comprehensive economic, social, and political program for a modern democratic state, which aimed at realizing the high ideals of like justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, etc. We have to achieve these ideals. Like we have to maintain or deliver justice. Right? We have to give liberty. We have to maintain equality and establish fraternity in the country. Right? And ultimately, where we will go? We will go towards welfare state. Right? And this welfare state was quite absent in colonial or British era. But now, since we have our own government, therefore we can expect welfare state from our own government, and they will definitely implement these ideals which are mentioned in directive principles of state policy. I hope you got knowledge of all these, you can say, directive principles, and now you have understood. And in next presentation, we will see what kind of exactly, or what exactly directive principles are there, which directive principles are mentioned, we will look at that in detail in next presentation. Thank you for watching.